Cips, clips. And remember, citizens, always subscribe and hit the bell. Everything will be well in 1995. Plus, shipping and handling will keep you out of hell. Why does a dog wag its tail? Because a dog is smarter than its tail. If the tail were... Cips, clips. And remember, citizens, always subscribe and hit the bell. Everything will be well in 1995. Plus, shipping and handling will keep you out of hell. Why does a dog wag its tail? Because a dog is smarter than its tail. If the tail were smarter, the tail would wag the dog. Wag the dog in politics is the act of creating diversion. Hello. Sorry, man. I done tests earlier on and I thought I'd cracked it, but obviously not. Right, there we go. Anybody that was watching from the beginning, was it just me, or was it fucking strobe lighting at the beginning? That's why I wanted to start a few minutes early. Anywho, it seems to be working now. Moo the coo. So welcome to Wag the Dog News, not the coo, the dog. Wag the Dog. News from all sides. So since RT's been put in the back burner, thought we'd touch a wee bit and base of the RT. Let's hope they're doing some fucking top of the hour news and not a party piece. And we'll touch on the BBCs and see two different stories, one war. It's kind of like Hong Kong, you know, like two systems, one country. This is like two different stories, one war. Just depends where you go and get your shit from, man. So, thanks for joining, everybody. Please bear with the channel. I'm in the process of having to get a fucking new computer, but the different graphic cards are fucking at a premium right now. Still. So, it's going to cost a lot of pennies to replace it. Anyway, so we're going to have a wee look. BBCs. The top of the hour. Oh, redness. But I stay in the yellow. And we'll have a wee look at the RTs over on the Odyssey. Let's see if they do top of the hour news. Yeah, look how sexy that looks. You've done mass graves. No. You've done mass graves. No. You've done mass graves.
2000 стариков, женщин, детей убиты.
Better turn on the audio.
Причинам украинский народ просто уничтожает сам себя.
No. You've done mass graves.
Мириться или возвращаться в Украину никогда.
In warfare, the first casualty is the truth. Viewer discretion advised. Yes! That means I won't watch it. Oh man, they just look at me. That almost looks like fucking Call of Duty. Call of Duty, the computer game. Ah, fuck you, RT. Pathetic, man. Where's your top of your hour news? Yep, just a party piece, just a package. I'm refusing to watch fucking RT packages, man. Unless they get those two rapper guys out of fucking, get them off of ice, and I want them to rap the news to me like RT America did. Boom, 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 boom. Here, RT, we tell the fucking truth. I loved it. Listen to the news. See when news has that music. It's a package. It ain't news. It's a package to play on your heartstrings. And I refuse. Fuck. Right. I can get rid of that wee sign language guy by coming over here. Pushing a button. And going back to the top of the hour.
This is BBC One Scotland. Now the BBC News at 1 with Jane Hill and Reporting Scotland with Sarah McMullen.
Sarah McMullen.
The BBC says it's received 6 complaints about alleged bullying or sexual misconduct by the DJ Tim Westwood, and that one was referred to the police. In April, the BBC said no evidence of complaints had been found, following a documentary which investigated the former Radio 1 presenter.
This was an open
Tim Westwood has previously denied allegations of sexual misconduct.
Leech.
Also this lunchtime, Boris Johnson was aware of reports and speculation about Chris Pincher's behaviour before he was appointed Deputy Chief Whip in February. The man suspected of killing 3 people in a Copenhagen shopping centre is due in court. The authorities don't believe the attack was terrorism related. Thousands of people are told
it was a
to
madman with a fucking gun. And they're like, here's
School caterers tell the BBC that rising food prices are affecting what they can provide for children's lunches. And a new species of water lily is discovered.
Just
and
what I
it's
always
the largest
wanted.
in the world, with leaves more than 10 feet wide.
Standing here, you really get a sense of just how huge this is. This is one plant and it's still growing.
And on Reporting Scotland, police urge passengers to report sexual harassment they experience on witness or trains. And Labour rule out the prospect of any deal with the SNP if there's a hung parliament in the next general election.
Modern democracy scam, it's so watered down with every lunatic for the asylum that nothing can get done. There's no direction, there's no...
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the BBC News at 1.
It's just a big
The BBC has
down.
received 6 complaints about alleged bullying or sexual misconduct by the former
Everything
Radio
just
1
stays the
DJ
fucking
Tim
same.
Westwood.
Well, they all
At least
pocket
one of
hunters
the
of cash
complaints,
and
which was
decide
referred
on
to the
fucking
police,
how much they're
was
going to
made
give, pat
before an
themselves on the back and
investigation
give
by
themselves a
BBC News
raise.
and The Guardian in April, which revealed accounts
Please
of
tell
the
me why
DJ's
Scotland has a
predatory
fucking
sexual
parliament in the
behaviour.
fucking first place.
The BBC
It's just
said
another
at that
fucking
time
trough
that no
for the
evidence of
fucking
complaints
pigs.
had been found.
So it is.
Tim Westwood, who
See all
left
the money
BBC
that goes
in
into paying those
2013,
fucking arseholes
has
to turn up at
previously
the
denied
Scottish Parliament to
allegations of
decide
sexual misconduct.
sweet Fanny
Our
Adams
correspondent
just
Kiki
about.
Izundu has this report.
Nothing that couldn't be done in a fucking
These are some
like a
of the 7
local
women
council
who allege
level or
unexpected
something.
and unwanted sexual touching
Yeah,
and
that, all
sexual
that money's money that
misconduct
could be
against the former
going to
BBC
to
DJ
help
Tim Westwood.
poor cunts.
Yo, we are live on BBC 2. Welcome to the Radio 1 Rap Show. This is how Radio 1 get down in the 9-7.
This is Isabel's story. She was 19 when she travelled from the Midlands to meet Westwood in London.
And when I got there, he was in a car. And then the next thing, he's undone his trousers. He actually tapped me to turn around and look at the fact that he's exposing himself. So I've looked and I've seen, and I'm like, oh no, oh no, like, oh my God.
Tim Westwood strenuously denied all the allegations, but as well as an
Biggest hit in
international
the
club
car.
DJ, the 64-year-old had a nearly 20-year career at the BBC, fronting shows on Radio 1 and
right
One
in the
Extra.
big
Back in
fucking
April,
pervert.
in a statement to our
Perverts
investigation,
at the BBC
said,
getting tolerated?
"We have no
Oh
relevant
my
information
God!
for this
Let me ask
investigation."
Jimmy Savile.
The very next day, the Director General, Tim Davie, went on to say,
I've seen no evidence of complaints. I've seen no evidence. I've seen no evidence of complaint. I've asked, and we looked at our records, and we've seen no evidence.
So this is now awkward for the BBC, who claimed it didn't have any relevant information. And now has 6 complaints of sexual
Awkward for the
misconduct
BBC.
or bullying.
Almost
against
as
Tim
awkward
Westwood.
as Jimmy Savile,
So far,
but-
the corporation has declined to clarify whether 5 of those complaints were received after the broadcast of our documentary. It has confirmed that the police referral is historic. The BBC says Tim Westwood was also spoken to following one of the other complaints, and said Tim Davie set out his position as he knew it at the time. The corporation confirmed it's still digging to find any more information regarding Tim Westwood's behaviour during his employment. Tim Westwood has not responded to any of our requests for comment.
It's about to get real hectic up here.
But now the corporation is under pressure to answer questions about its record keeping and reveal what it did and didn't know about Tim Westwood's behaviour. Chichi Izundu, BBC News.
A 22-year-old man is due to appear in court in Copenhagen in connection with yesterday's shooting in the city. 3 people were killed and 4 others are in hospital in a critical condition after the incident at the Fields shopping centre in the south of the city. Police say the suspect had a history of mental health problems and that there was no indication that the shooting was terrorism related. Our Europe correspondent Jessica Parker
What
joins
kind
me
of
from
statement
Copenhagen.
is that?
Jess.
What, the guy didn't have a fucking rag on his head or something? What the fuck does that mean?
Shopping centre this lunchtime, which remains cordoned off. It's part of an enhanced police presence in the city. Now, authorities say their initial assessment is that this was a random attack, but of course it's one that has left the city in a state of shock. A warning, my report contains some distressing images from the start.
Uh-oh.
Panic and fear as gunshots ring out at a shopping mall in Denmark's capital.
Well, in America can do, the Scandinavians want to do better, I suppose.
2 17-year-olds and a 47-year-old Russian man who lives in Denmark were killed. 4 others left in a serious condition.
I've spoken to my daughters. They were in the restaurant where the perpetrator was firing the shots, but they managed to get out. So now they're hiding in an apartment. They just saw a guy coming up the escalator starting to fire with an automatic gun. And so they, of course, just ran as quick as they could.
I'm going to argue and split hairs
Short
here
time
and
later,
say it was a
the father and
semi-automatic,
daughter
but
reunited.
I don't know why that should make difference.
This a chilling image of the alleged gunman. A 22-year-old man
Doesn't even look like a
described as
semi-automatic, to be
Dane
honest.
was arrested minutes after the shooting.
Described
He was
as an
known to
ethnic
mental health
Dane.
services.
He was a fucking known
There is nothing
nutbar.
more investigation of the documents that we have been looking at, or the items we've found, or the witness statements we have that indicate it was an act of terror.
The Fields Mall is one of Denmark's biggest shopping centres, located on the outskirts of Copenhagen to the south. A music concert by Harry Styles at the nearby Royal Arena was cancelled. On social media, the British singer said, "I'm devastated for the victims, their families and everyone hurting. I'm sorry we couldn't be together. Please look after each other." Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said the country had suffered a cruel attack, one that's left its capital city reeling. Jessica Parker, BBC News in Copenhagen.
Downing Street has said this lunchtime that Boris Johnson was aware of reports and speculation about Chris Pincher's behaviour before he appointed him Deputy Chief Whip in February. Chris Pincher resigned from the government on Thursday after allegations of sexual misconduct were made against him. Let's get the very latest from our political correspondent,
The word is
Nick
just
Eardley.
bandied
So
around
explain what
left,
more
right,
is
and
being
centre
said this
to
lunchtime,
induce fear,
Nick.
isn't it?
Well, Jane, when Chris Pincher stood down on Thursday, he admitted that he'd got drunk and embarrassed himself. Since then, over the weekend, there have been several allegations of sexual misconduct in the newspapers. They've been denied by Chris Pincher to the newspapers. But there is this increasing question over what the Prime Minister knew about allegations and when. Now, on Friday, we were told by Downing Street that the Prime Minister wasn't aware
Politics
of
is a big
specific
bunch of fucking
allegations.
bitches.
Well, this morning that line has changed from Number 10, who say the Prime Minister was aware
just a big
of
bunch of
rumours
fucking
and speculation
backstabbing
before
bitches,
Mr
man.
Pincher was given a job in the Whip's office in Parliament. Now remember that job as Deputy Chief Whip meant he was in charge of party discipline. He also had a role in MPs' welfare. Number 10 has also not denied a claim made by some who worked in Number 10 under Boris Johnson that Mr Johnson used
I'll
the
be
term
quite honest with you, I'm
Pincher by
absolutely...
name, Pincher by nature. Now, the Prime Minister's spokesman has said that it wasn't deemed acceptable to stop Mr Pincher getting his Whip's office role because of unsubstantiated allegations. But I think this will raise more questions for the Prime Minister and for Downing Street about his judgment in putting Mr Pincher into that role. Some Tory MPs I've been speaking to this morning deeply uncomfortable with this story and what it says about the Prime Minister's judgment.
Nick Eardley, thank you very much at Westminster. Firefighters in Bedford are tackling a large blaze at a block of flats following a gas explosion. Bedfordshire Fire and Rescue Service described the blaze at a 3-storey block as a major incident. Adam Fisher, who's a sales worker whose office is nearby, said he heard a huge explosion before witnessing what he described as an inferno. 2 people have been taken to hospital, 1 with serious injuries.
Doesn't he sound great?
Protesters have been targeting motorways in Wales, Essex and Devon in a demonstration about high fuel prices.
This is hilarious.
Calling for cuts to fuel duty, protesters clogged motorways in England, Scotland and Wales with convoys of slow-moving vehicles driving in 2 lanes.
You notice the double standards and the hypocrites from
At least 8
the media
have been arrested on
and
suspicion of committing a public order offence.
And see this mainstream media fucking bullcrap, right? That even that has been watered down and turned into some sort of a like bullcrap fucking meme that means fuck all. You have like Alex Jones, for example, out there saying, speaking to Donald Trump, gets his guy in the White House and still calls himself the Resistance and starts going, we're bigger than anything out there. Nobody, millions of people listen to us. And then still calls other outlets with less viewership, the mainstream media. You have a new thing over here in the UK. It used to be Talk Radio, now it's Talk TV. They've launched on the free views and all that shit. And they're calling themselves, you hear all the talking heads on there talking about the mainstream media, the established media, the mainstream media. You won't, and fuck it, who else? Mike Graham. You won't hear this anywhere else. But hold on a sec, mate. I'll turn on Nigel Farage TV, Great Britain News. Boom! I'm hearing the same shit. Oh, hold on a sec. I'll turn on fucking Sky News and listen to some of their talking fucking heads. Boom! Same fucking shit. And he's sat up there with, my God, man, the picture of fucking health, this cunt. He looks like a baby. He looks like somebody's blown him up.
Not to allow an encirclement.
Honestly, he looks like he's in death's door. Death's door. And he's sitting up there like browbeating people for doing X, Y, or Z. You're like, listen, you fat fuck. See when you can fucking walk up 3 stairs without nearly having a heart attack? That's when you can actually browbeat people. Until then, man, go and start fucking eating whatever you're fucking eating. Aye, babies. Fucking Mike Graham, of course he's Scottish. Because we rule the world. And it's amazing the rhetoric these cunts are using. It's like Alex Jones 10 years ago. It's now getting fucking put into the mouths of Nigel Farage TV, Great Britain News, or whatever they fucking call it. We tell the news from all angles. No, you don't. You tell the news from a pro-Brexit angle, and you've not even got the balls to fucking say it. That's why you have Nigel Farage on all the time, talking head.
And thousands of people have been told to leave their homes amid torrential
global warming.
Australia's largest city, Sydney. Roads have been cut off with 18 evacuation orders.
Let me guess. See the bits that got flooded? Was that a floodplain that had been reclaimed by dikes and flood defences? I'm just stabbing in the fucking dark here, by the way. Stabbing in the dark. Wouldn't surprise me.
To safety and salvage what they can. More
Let's think. Did these floods happen next to rivers when there was lots of rain and the rivers rose and burst their banks, which they've been doing for hundreds of thousands of years? Millions of years, sorry. Some would say it's part of... I mean, like, if you go and listen to Egypt, ancient Egypt, they used to love it when the banks flooded, because that was then when the floods then went away, and they weren't stupid enough to build fucking houses where it flooded. They were smart motherfuckers. And when it flooded, it brought in all the mud and all the shit that made the land fertile and all that jazz. And then when the flood subsided, it left all the residue, and then they could go and start farming it. And it was part of the circle of life. But nowadays it's just global warming. Oh, see that floodplain that we claimed we got the Dutch in to claim back a couple hundred years ago with a big system of dikes and all that, which we haven't been looking after and maintaining. Well, that's flooded. Fuck no. And you know what?
It's sad for people.
There was some stupid bastard, stupid enough, to build houses in a floodplain, and not only build houses in a floodplain, sell the houses in the floodplain, and then act surprised when the floodplain fucking floods, when the fucking dikes and all the systems to keep the water out of the floodplains haven't been getting looked after. It's amazing. It bamboozles me as to this why all this happens.
Is seeing firsthand the impact of a warming planet. Shaima Khalil, BBC News, Sydney.
It is 1:15. Our top story this lunchtime. The BBC says it's received 6 complaints about alleged bullying or sexual misconduct by the DJ Tim Westwood, and that one was referred to the police. Still to come on today's programme.
Here at Wimbledon, we await the return of Australia's Nick Kyrgios. Aces.
He was assuming all his groupies wanted to suck his dick.
So far.
And on Reporting Scotland, police are urging passengers to report any sexual harassment they experience or witness on train journeys. And Labour rule out the prospect of any deal with the SNP.
What about all the cameras?
Parliament
It kind of goes without saying. If you get raped on a train, can you report it, boys?
School caterers have told the BBC that rising food prices are changing what they provide for children's lunches in England and Wales. Some caterers have switched to cheaper imported meats and changed the fruit and vegetables on offer. Catering companies say the cost of basic groceries has increased by as much as 30%, and they're calling for the money for school dinners to be ring-fenced. Our education editor, Branwen Jeffries, has this report.
This country is burning, man. Seriously, this is like, and I'm repeating shit that I've heard of other people, but it's the 70s all over again. I'm saying that as if I was about in the 70s.
And the roast dinner here.
But this is crazy. Cops up here. The cops are talking about going on strike. The railway cunts are going on strike.
The BBC prices are going up.
And it's so funny to see the double standards of like, protests against fuel, good. Protests against wages, bad.
We have been buying that from farms in Cornwall.
We've replaced it with gammon. We've reduced the amount of chicken that we're using and replaced that with turkey.
This wholesaler down the road supplies the Plymouth school caterers. Rising fuel costs are just one of their headaches. They've faced sudden shortages of some fruit and veg, and the war in Ukraine has made prices unpredictable.
Since January, we've never experienced...
This war is going to go on for some fucking time. Russia's kicking ass like they did in Syria, and the West ain't willing to fucking back down. Well, in fact, the West are not even willing to step up to the plate. They just want to flood the place with weapons and grind the Russians down.
Now, at the moment, prices are quite stable because we're into the British growing season. But the fear is that this autumn and winter could see further big price hikes.
Just a package.
Yay!
RT, get your finger out and do some proper
For
news.
school catering teams, it's getting harder to make everything add up.
And 4 and
Oh, I've
4
not had
is
anything to eat yet today, man.
8, and 8 and 8 is 16. Wow!
Children might have to get used to more changes on their plate, even though most of them like familiar foods.
What do you like best about school dinners?
Roast chicken. I like the potatoes more.
Which is your favourite?
The holiday breakfast.
You have cleared your plate, Dylan. What do you like about school dinners?
I like the taste of the food and also the vegetables.
With half the children here getting free school meals, good food matters. Just losing beef off the menu has had an effect.
Sometimes it's not until you do something like that that you realise the impact. So, for example, some children stopped having roast dinner and we were saying, well, why is that? I really like the roast beef and Yorkshire pud. So that's really sad because with the roast meat comes a lot of offer around vegetables that they might not otherwise try.
The number of children who need free school meals has gone up. In England, more money has gone into meals for the very youngest, with the government giving
Can he feed our
7p a
kids?
child extra each day.
Can he pay
A
our
welcome
cops?
increase, but one that
Can
could
he
be
pay the
overtaken
fucking?
by
Can he keep the
prices.
trains going?
Bram Jeffries, BBC
Although
News,
the
Plymouth.
people with shares
Plans
make
to
a
let
fortune.
nurseries and childminders look after more 2-year-olds in England are to be put to parents. At the moment, one adult is allowed to be in charge of 4 children aged 2 or 3. But the government says it wants to reduce the cost of childcare by following the Scottish model of one adult allowed to care for 5 children. The Education Secretary, Nadeem Zahawi, has insisted that the safety of children is paramount. The consultation is expected to last 8 weeks.
Can we
The
look
Labour
after
leader,
our
Sir Keir
kids?
Starmer, is to use a speech later today to explain how he believes he could make Brexit work better for the UK. He's expected to renew
Popularism.
pledges not to take
There's
the UK
even
back
Labour
into
backing out of
EU
the
single
EU,
market and
man,
customs union,
because they know
or
they
restore
can't
freedom
win
of
the
movement for
vote
workers if he
with
becomes
backing
Prime
the
Minister.
EU.
Let's find out more from our political correspondent Ben Wright. So, what more do
It's
we
more
think we're gonna
evidence
hear
they'll
from the
say
Labour leader then,
whatever
Ben?
it takes.
Well, Jane, you'll remember back in December 2019, Boris Johnson won that general election emphatically with a promise to get Brexit done. Well, now Labour's leader Sir Keir Starmer wants to win, he hopes, the next election with a promise to make Brexit work. That has been his slogan for some time, and tonight
Make
in a speech he's
Brexit
going to
work.
flesh out what that slogan means. I do think it marks quite a tactical shift for the party. I mean, it was only 3 years ago that Sir Keir Starmer himself was calling for a second referendum to try and break the Brexit deadlock that was gripping Westminster, and it's been a problematic issue for the party. Many of the seats it lost in 2019 voted leave in the referendum, but a lot of Labour activists would like to see, and are still calling for, a closer relationship between the UK and the EU. Just the other day, the Labour Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, said that he'd like to see the UK rejoin the single market. In this speech, though, tonight, Sir Keir Starmer is going to say emphatically that that is not going to happen. The UK will not be joining the EU if he becomes Prime Minister. There'll be no rejoining of the single market, no return to the customs union, no return of free movement. And I think what he's trying to do is close down a potential line of attack from the Tories as we head towards the next election. He wants to make this about what he sees as Brexit's failings and missed opportunities. So he's going to say, for instance, that he'd like to cut a number of side deals with the EU to make the situation in Northern Ireland work better, new mutual recognition deal,
of professional qualifications. He wants to keep the UK in the Horizon Science programme. This, according to Sir Keir Starmer, is about the practical consequences
they've no
of
sorted
Brexit,
Northern
not
Ireland
the
out yet.
principle,
Fuck
which he
me.
says is settled.
Ben, thank you, Ben Wright. EasyJet has announced that its chief operating officer, Peter Bellew, has resigned. It comes amid growing pressure on the airline to try to reduce flight disruptions. Let's find out more from our transport correspondent, Katie Austin.
Our aeroplanes aren't running.
What's happening at EasyJet? What does it all mean, Katie?
Is there anything that our supermarkets haven't got this choice that they used to? I don't know about yous, but I know that
into that role.
I used to be able to get about like 6 different types of
hasn't
mustards.
given a reason other than
One.
he's
In fact, 2 now.
other business opportunities, but this does come when
used to be able to
EasyJet has
get
been
like
going through
4
a
or
very
5
challenging
different
time,
salad
as have a
dressings.
number of other
One
aviation
now.
businesses with staff shortages,
the
a really
variety of
big
meat
underlying issue in
down.
the sector at the moment.
Crazy.
EasyJet has
Like,
cancelled thousands of flights.
I never
including
thought I would
over
notice
the busy summer holiday
fucking
period
shit
we're
like
about
that.
to go into. Many of them in advance.
But it's happening.
That is partly in response to flight number caps introduced at some major airports, Gatwick and Amsterdam. It's partly a preemptive measure to try and reduce the chance
Buses are
of
running like
disruption
shit.
over the summer and give people a chance to rebook. But the boss
you
of
can't get a
EasyJet,
fucking
Johan
Uber
Lundgren, said
on a night
today
out
everyone at the
late
airline
on when you
remained
used to be able to
absolutely
get one
focused
easy
on
peasy.
delivering a safe and reliable operation this
Fucking
summer.
never mind
Given some of the
trying to
problems
get a
we saw
black
at
hat.
airports and airlines earlier this year, there is a lot of attention on whether things will be better for the summer holidays, and businesses say they're doing everything they can to
But
try
hey,
and make sure
apart from
things
that, the
run as
country's
smoothly
running
as possible.
smooth as a
All right,
motherfucker.
Katie, thank you, Katie Austin.
Boris Johnson's doing a grand
The poet, playwright
job.
and author Joseph Coelho has been named the
if
new
we,
Children's
and if we don't
Laureate,
like Boris
which
Johnson,
celebrates outstanding
we've got
achievements
plenty
in
of
the
other
field of
amazing
children's literature.
choices.
The 42-year-old
like-
was presented with the title by the outgoing laureate Dame Cressida Cowell. Joseph Coelho said he wants to highlight and celebrate the power of poetry in his new role. England's cricketers are fighting to save the rearranged fifth test against
Boris
India
Johnson
at Edgbaston. India began their second innings with a lead of 132 runs, but England's bowlers took 4 wickets in the morning session. Play has resumed, and a few moments ago, India are 234 for 8, a lead of 366. Well, at Wimbledon, play begins
Oh my
shortly
God,
on
he
centre
looks
court
like he could do
with
with
the
a
highly
meal.
controversial Australian Nick Kyrgios first in action. Over the course of this year's tournament, he's been fined a total of £11,500 for his on-court behaviour. Our sports correspondent Joe Wilson is at the All England Club. Well, I might normally ask, what are we expecting, Joe? But with Nick Kyrgios, you don't know, do you?
No, I don't know. There is anticipation, also a sense of apprehension, I think.
This
Because,
man
of course,
might
you remember what
actually
happened
say
in
a
his last
naughty
match.
word.
This was against Stefanos Tsitsipas. Actually, both players got fined in the aftermath of this. It involves Tsitsipas hitting the ball into the crowd, Kyrgios insisting that his opponent should be disqualified. Kyrgios called the umpire a disgrace. There were various audible obscenities, and Kyrgios, of course, won the match. Now, I think we have to ask ourselves whether Kyrgios uses these outbursts as a kind of tactic to unsettle his opponent in particular. In that case, put yourself now in the shoes of young Brandon Nakashima, a 20-year-old from California who plays Kyrgios today. Look, it will all be new to him. He's never been at this stage in a Grand Slam before. Jane, one of the big other talking points throughout the tournament so far has been the crowds, small in comparison to recent normal Wimbledons. Now, the chief executive here has said she thinks that's down to fewer people joining the queue, and they're wondering exactly why people aren't coming.
All right, Joe. And
Get a new
that's singles,
bottle
that's
from
our
my
focus so often. But let's have a quick
And
thought
I've been
about doubles
reliably
as well.
informed
Some
that it looks like
interesting
a dildo.
potential matches there as well.
And there's been a good one already on court number 3 involving the British pair of Heather Watson and Harriet Dart. Now, they are up against the number 4 seeds for a chance to get into the quarterfinals. It feels like Heather Watson has been on court every day of the tournament so far. It is my duty to inform you in the last few minutes, I'm afraid the British pair have just lost. But it's been a good Wimbledon for Heather Watson. Looking further ahead to the show court singles this evening, Jane will have Rafa Nadal and also Harmony Tan. And who knows, after Kyrgios, a bit of harmony might be useful.
We'd like some of that. Thank you very much. Joe Wilson there watching the action for us.
So thanks for joining, buddy.
Now,
wee
a
thumbs up
new
if you
species
appreciate
of
it.
giant water lily has been discovered by scientists, and in fact, it's been hiding in plain sight for 177 years. The plant
It's
is
giant,
the
but it's been
world's
hiding.
largest water lily, with leaves more than 10 feet wide. It has been in the
it's been
archives of the
hiding.
Royal Botanic Gardens at Kew since 1845, but was mistakenly
Well, somebody
identified
needs
as
sack.
another species. Our science editor, Rebecca Morell, has the story.
They're a marvel of the botanical world. Giant water lilies dominating the pond in Kew Gardens. But these aren't just extraordinary to look at. They're also a species that's new to science.
They are huge, aren't they? And they feel so strong, kind of, when you press down on them.
Under the bud, there is a network of nerves, and they are filled with air.
For years, these plants were thought to be another species, but scientists suspected this wasn't the case.
When you think this is a new species, you have to demonstrate it.
And for future reference, I'm going to be doing this Monday to Friday at 1 o'clock.
I cannot really put it into words, you know.
I said that before,
is
and
the
my
highlight of
computer
my
broke on me.
career.
So
And this new species is called
I've got a
Victoria
Frankenstein
boliviana,
thing that
named
seems
after
to be
Bolivia, where it grows in the
holding together a
wild.
wee bit.
Standing here, you really get a sense of
I should
just
be
how
getting a new one
huge
shortly.
this is. This is one plant, and it's still growing. Not only is this the first discovery of a new giant water lily species in more than 100 years, it's also now the biggest water lily in the world, with leaves that grow to more than 3 metres. That's 10 feet in size.
And I think we'll watch a wee bit of the Scotland
the new
news
species
as
had
well
been
now.
hiding in
Inside
Kew's archives
baseball
for more
and
than
old Scotland.
150 years. A specimen was collected and dried and stored, but wrongly identified. The discovery now brings the number of giant water lily species to 3, and a key part of studying them is to make detailed botanical drawings.
This is the open flower of the new species. Oh, maybe I'm biased, but out of the 3 species, I think it's one of the most beautiful flowers.
Drawings of the different water lilies revealed their unique features.
I could, as an illustrator, highlight those differences that I saw. And in fact, while I was drawing those differences, they became even stronger in my mind, and I found new ways of telling them apart.
The water lily house at Kew was built in the 1800s to showcase these natural wonders of the Victorian age. But this new discovery shows that even today, these giants hold some surprises, and scientists say they still have much to learn about these remarkable plants. Rebecca Morell, BBC News.
Ah, extraordinary. Let's take a look at the weather prospects now, shall we? Susan Powell has joined me. Hi, Susan.
Afternoon, Jane. From lilies to daisies, some gorgeous sunshine here across Cambridgeshire at the moment. Sunny spells for many parts of the UK this afternoon, but temperatures actually a little down from where we'd expect to find them at this point in summer. But through this week, warmer weather is on its way. It's a little cool today because we have a northwesterly breeze. We have a weak weather front sinking its way south across the UK, and the breeze through this afternoon will continue
really
to bring
have,
some
like,
showers into northern and
cut
western
back
Scotland,
on that programming,
Northern Ireland,
man.
and we may see just a few spots of rain on the tail end of this weather front across the southwest of England. But overall, a fine story for the majority, spells of sunshine and temperatures in the high teens to
I think they would still do a top of the hour
through
news
the evening and
just
overnight, the
repeat
front
it.
clears away
It's
to the south of the
just
UK.
constantly
Thicker cloud will
playing
move towards
packages is
Northern
kind
Ireland
of
and western
pathetic, man.
Scotland through the small hours, with clear spells, particularly across central southern England. It's to be quite chilly, a low of just 6 or 7 degrees in a few rural spots for first thing on Tuesday. A lot of sunshine as the day gets underway across the UK, but this bank of cloud across Northern Ireland will tend to drift further south, pushing into parts of Wales and southern England come the
watch a wee
afternoon
bit of the Scottish
and towards
news.
western Scotland. Could be a little bit of rain for western Scotland. Elsewhere,
See what the
looking at a dry
Scottish
story.
news
Temperatures
is saying to you.
to today's. For the action on court, not anticipating any interruptions on Tuesday. Highs around 20 to 22
Remember,
degrees Celsius. Still a little
Monday
bit
to Friday will be here at 1 o'clock.
and then we
in the
look further
afternoon.
ahead into our week, and it
And
really is a story of
Tuesdays,
this area of high pressure to the southwest,
tomorrow,
trying to build all the while
I know the
and
date
push
is wrong,
away these weather fronts. Wednesday, however, I think a
got lots
spell of
of
more
clips.
persistent rain working its way across
For
Scotland.
not the
Generally,
Infowars nightly
more
news
cloud right the
tomorrow
way
night.
across the UK, but actually our temperatures just beginning to nudge up a little because we're pulling in some warmer air from the southwest around that area of high pressure as it continues to build into Thursday and Friday. It looks looks like we'll eventually tap into some milder air coming in on a westerly direction from the Azores. And so our temperatures across the southern half of the UK could really be invigorated by that warmer air and quite a bit of sunshine. As we get through Thursday, Friday, they're climbing all the while. It's Saturday and Sunday, though, where you see red colour.
I'll need to get something sorted for RT.
And Wales, and temperatures will push up into the mid to high 20s. Always relatively cool up for Scotland and Northern Ireland. But
maybe what I'll do is try and keep an eye on it during the day.
Of around 2 or 3
and
degrees.
If I do manage to get
across the northern half of the UK through the latter part of the week. Not much rain, though, to speak of, but further south, a lot of fine weather to come and some warmth. Potentially
at top of our news, a news broadcast from them. I'll record
right,
it. And
Susan,
then I can
thank you, Susan Powell. And just a reminder of our top story here this lunchtime. The BBC says it's received 6 complaints about alleged bullying or sexual misconduct.
That's the
by
top
DJ
story.
Tim Westwood.
Did they even mention anything about Ukraine?
To the police.
Not one word about Ukraine.
That is all from the news at One Team, so it's goodbye from all of us.
Am I
on
trying?
BBC One, let's join
Not
our
one
news
word
teams
about
now,
Ukraine.
You are. Have a
That's
good
because
afternoon.
Russia's
Bye-bye.
kicking ass. Chewing bubble gum and kicking ass.
The headlines on Reporting Scotland this Monday lunchtime. The police are urging passengers to report any sexual harassment they experience or witness on train journeys.
What kind of fucking
Labour rule out
retarded
the
story
prospect
is
of
that?
any deal with the SNP if there's a hung parliament in the next general election.
That's a Fabian Society, man. Woo!
Hello there, good
Pretty
afternoon.
sure Corduroy
Sexual
Corbyn's a
assaults
member
on
of
the
the
rail
Fabian
network
Society
are at their
and
highest
Tony
level
Blair
in
as
a
well.
decade. That's according to the British Transport Police, who are launching a campaign, Speak Up, Interrupt, to encourage people to report incidents and to safely intervene if they can. Meanwhile, the government is planning a consultation on how to make public transport a safer place. Our political correspondent Kirsten Campbell now reports.
I sit tight and wait for the sound of doors closing. Now's my chance. I make my escape.
This poem was written to help the author process a bad experience on a train. It's been viewed more than 4 million times.
Right.
But what now?
Let's be honest, that could happen anywhere, right? So, you like, I'm all for fucking tackling the fucking problem in society, but fucking for some reason to try and fucking, I don't know, like fucking, like as if like sort of our trains are rape centres or something. I mean, I use public transport quite a lot. Well, fuck. Back in Nam, pre-pandemic. And it's fucking, I wouldn't say it's safe as houses, but fuck me, man, like, I've never witnessed anything of the sort. The worst you get is fucking drunken dudes or dudettes singing or being arseholes. No fucking pure
It tells a story that's
sex
all
pests.
too familiar to women like Erin. She's a PhD student who suffered harassment on the railways.
Men sitting close to you, really close to you, when there is plenty of other space, and wondering, oh, why is he doing that? In terms of sort of being followed to another carriage, in terms of when you're on a busy train, wondering if that hand you can feel is just because the train is crowded, or
Come on, Hen, you're fucking living in cloud cuckoo land. Who the fuck's harassing you? Oh my god, this is like so, so she's been on a crowded train and she thinks she's getting sexually harassed. Sorry, finish your story, Hen.
or is someone trying to grope you?
Police figures
46 sexual assaults. Right, I don't know if you know what can be classed as a sexual assault nowadays, man. I'm not justifying it or saying it's good, big, clever, or should happen or anything, right? But it's redunculous, man. like seeing the list of priorities of shit that fucking people should be fucking giving a fucking fanny a fucking boot.
So there were 46 sexual assaults reported by women on the railways in Scotland.
Reported by women. So how many were prosecuted? How many were fucking women that were fucking on a crowded train and thought a fucking guy's elbow was his dick and fucking like that woman there?
Last year, the highest number in over a decade. More than 300 women were threatened, harassed or assaulted on trains.
Most women will have felt unsafe on their own at some point. It's why we've developed techniques like putting our keys through our hands.
Yes, being able to blind guys. Oh my god, man. HRT positive, HRT positive. I'm sick of this shit, man. What the fuck kind of bullshit is this? Like, see if a dude was to fucking say, I arm myself with my fucking keys. Dudes are under more threat than fucking women. You're more likely to get a fucking drunken arsehole start on a fucking weak looking fucking dude than you are fucking against a woman. Because 99.9% of dudes out there would fucking stop shit happening to innocent women. This is fucking mental. What kind of fucking Jedi mind trick fucking shit is this? That's why we've developed techniques of putting our keys between our fucking hands so we can blind the cunt. Woo! The guy only wanted to ask you the time. Maybe ask you for your number. You're fucking blinding him.
For protection.
Beautiful. For protection.
British Transport Police are doing more patrols, but warn they can't help if they don't know you're in trouble.
Is there some sort of a plague or rape happening in fucking Glasgow in Scotland that I'm unaware of? Is there some sort of a thing that's happened amongst men where every dude is just like high-fiving, hey, go and rape some bitches tonight, whoa, yeah, grab her tits, grab her by a pussy, fucking rape her, yay man, am I missing this? Have I missed this fad? Have I missed this fashion? Which shop do I go to buy this fashion? Hey, I want a wee bit of casual, rapey, sexual, assaulty shit. Woohoo! It's all good in the hood, man. Do you know here, record levels? It's all good. Socially acceptable now to just bounce around and rape and fucking sexually assault women. What fucking retarded pish is this? This is obviously wrote by a talking vagina with teeth. A vagina with teeth.
There's a new Railway Guardian app and a text number 61016.
Boom! There it is. Yes, get your fucking app. Report Tim Westwood if you see him in the Glasgow fucking trains.
That you can use to alert them.
If you feel uncomfortable, then trust your instincts. Make that report, text 61016. We've got an online reporting portal on btp.com. Or speak to a police officer if you see them in the train station, speak to a member of staff. Tell us about how you've been made to feel uncomfortable if that has happened to you, because we want to make every journey a safe journey.
Campaigners are particularly concerned about unstaffed stations where there are no ticket offices, just CCTV cameras.
At the moment, if you're on a train station, there's awareness about Wi-Fi. Why is there not awareness for women and girls and people who feel unsafe on trains? Why is there not information and awareness so they know what to do?
The Transport Minister is well aware of the issues.
I was at a train station and there was Wi-Fi. Why isn't there fucking Superman standing in the corner because I've got a vagina? I feel fucking inadequate to fucking stand here. I'm just unaware of fucking all these. I'm not saying it does not happen. What I'm saying is it's not happening fucking every train station. There's no a plague. And all these fucking women fucking quick, give me money. We need fucking money. That's the ultimate goal.
Behaviour can be. We as a government are taking this very seriously. To do that, we need to better gather the data that will inform policy going forward so that we can improve women's experiences on public transport right across the piece, from rail to bus and so on.
So speak up and reach out.
Dudes, fuck off. You're no welcome anymore. This is a vagina zone. Vagina only zone. And if you have a dick, you are... And if you don't identify with having a vagina, you're no welcome. They're going to force... That's it, man. I'm getting my kilt out. In a fucking long-haired wig. And I'll call myself Chiquita. Or something. I'm a dude with a beard that identifies with having a vagina, don't you know?
Let's put intimidating behaviour in its place.
Further announcements are expected after the summer. Kirsten Campbell reporting Scotland.
Further announcements.
The Scottish Labour leader Anna Sarwar has ruled out any pact between Labour and the SNP if there's a hung parliament after the next general election. Speaking at an event at Westminster, Mr Sarwar said there would be no accommodation between the two parties to keep the Conservative.
Of course there won't be a hung parliament. See, Cal, the SNP, we have a one-party dictatorship. Fuck the mundo. Labour, fucked. Conservatives, fucked since Maggie Thatcher. Greens, fucked. And every other fucking lunatic at the asylum, fucked. Whereas SNP, thank you Mel Gibson, Zeke Al, we've got a one-party dictatorship up here. Not only have we got a one-party dictatorship, we have one police force. One super-duper police force, Super Scotland. It's like the Bank of Scotland Super Squirrel when you were saving when you were a wee guy. Kind of like that, but a police force. And they wear a cape, and they just control the whole of Scotland. And the dude and the Independent Police Commission all sit up in seats in Holyrood, right next to Zikao, the SNP one-party dictatorship. Welcome to Welcome to the European Union dictatorship of Scotland. When we've got wee Hitler bitch Sturgeon using the tactic of keep fucking pestering cunts about wanting to get us out of that union, to join that union and call it independence. Yes, that is the logic that little Nazi party SNP leader Sturgeon operates under. And nobody, and thank you Mel Gibson and Braveheart for making people and all the young dumb fucking motherfuckers just blindly loyal to the SNP because of a stupid little fucking film, you see. Not understanding that we kicked the English cunt's arse and took over the whole of the UK and it's ours. Fucking idiots. But that's the country I stay in. One police force and a one-party political dictatorship. Factamundo. And if you want to go and even look at Super Police Force Scotland since its inception, look at their track record. Pish. Let me think. Just one. Whoa. First-hand evidence. Dead body lying in a house that they searched for fucking months. Oh, don't get me started on that one. Also, the dead bodies lying in the car that could have got saved if they actually just responded to a fucking call. Let's just go and check out their fucking Anyway, that's my rant over about fucking shitty
Out of
Scotland.
power. I'm joined now by our Westminster correspondent, David Porter. And David, this is a clear commitment here from Anas Sarwar this afternoon.
More Scots in Westminster.
Yes, it was. It was part of a wider speech at Westminster here by Anas Sarwar on the Constitution and his thoughts about the relationship between the Scottish Parliament and Westminster. He said he wanted there to be a legal duty of cooperation between London and Edinburgh, and he also called for the abolition of the House of Lords, for it to be replaced by an elected chamber that would have representatives from all parts of the United Kingdom, including Scotland. But he was also at pains as well to make his views known on any potential pacts post a next general election between the SNP and Labour, even.
So, let's start with the... That's not right. You've had loads of people phoning out at you for saying what the SNP are a bunch of Nazi bastards. Well, don't worry about that too much. Why the hell's that not got the full chat room anyway? Aye, dudes, they're all full of shite, man. Ralph, we do need Brian Rose to sell crypto to bring petrol down, and Tommy Robinson and Jim Dowson to raise funds for hard up families. Oh man, tune in on Tuesday night, man. I've got a cracking video of Tommy Robinson and he's can't even remember whatever bullshit he was doing in Luton recently. Whatever bullshit he was doing in Luton recently, and all the lies that's been told, man, all the spin and all the pure, oh my god, it's like fucking Ramsey Street fucking bullcrap, man. So tune in. What's occurring? Right, Method? How you doing, my man? Odd the mod in the afternoon, gents. And remember, folks, I'll be doing this Monday to Friday at 1 bells. Now that I've got a Frankenstein computer that kind of works. Although I think at the beginning, I need to watch it back and see at the beginning if it was strobe lighting, but I think it was. Because I was asking too much for it, Captain. Right. Let me finish off Scottish news.
If it was to try and allow Keir Starmer to get the keys to Downing Street. Afterwards, I caught up with Mr Sarwar, and he couldn't be clearer about any potential pacts.
Let's be absolutely clear here. No deals, no pacts.
No deals.
No coalition with the SNP. We are trying to get an outright Labour majority at the next election. If we fall short of that and we seek to form a minority Labour government, the SNP will have a clear choice. They can either vote to have a Tory government or they can have a Labour government. And in that situation, I dare Nicola Sturgeon and the SNP to back the Tories, and let's see how Scotland responds.
And David, also developments this afternoon.
What do you mean they'll respond? They'll still go, oh, hail the Sturgeon, we love Braveheart, Mel Gibson and Sturgeon. I think we should elect Mel Gibson. Fucking hate the SNP. No cunt even gives a fuck about their politics. It's all down to Braveheart and fucking little bigot motherfuckers who just want to hate the English. They want to fucking hate the English, who I love to hate, and swap them for fucking little fucking Tintin. Some fucking French frog or fucking some fucking bar of chocolate for Belgium. Fuck me, man. Have you ever tried to speak to those cunts? At least fucking England's got some brothers and sisters, if you know what I mean. Fuck me, man. People are fucking stupid. Scottish SNP supporters are retarded, man. Right, here's my policy as well, man. See the voting age? See the voting age? Raise it to 21. Stop fucking giving political parties incentive to fuck with young kids. It's fucking disgusting. The SNP with their fucking dictatorship we've got here right now can dictate the curriculum. That they can dictate what the kids are and are not getting taught, and thus fucking actually shape them politically, because they've got incentive, because as soon as they fucking leave school they can vote. And they fucking and have you met kids nowadays? They're all fucking smart arses because of fucking Google. You know what I mean? Back in the day, your mum and dad used to be your Google, or a book, or an encyclopedia, something like that. Nowadays, kids just boom straight to their fucking smartphone. Boom, I know everything. Smart arses. And you know, I don't know about yous. I was a smart arse without fucking Google. So it's pure hyper smart arses. And they're smart arses when it comes to politics. And 99.9% of them are all fucking want to identify with being trees and fucking left wing or crazy far right motherfuckers who want to throw statues in the fucking ponds and shit. Because they've been indoctrinated. We fucking... What? Anyway, let's listen to the rest of this Scottish bullshit.
Prime Minister knew regarding the former Deputy Chief Whip, MP Chris Pincher.
Yes, this lunchtime, Downing Street has changed the form of words that it's been using. It says that the Prime Minister was aware of reports and speculations about Chris Pincher before he was made Deputy Chief Whip in February this year. Now, last week he resigned from that post after allegations of sexual impropriety. He has since lost the whip from the Conservative Party and is effectively now an independent MP. The Prime Minister is due to address the House of Commons to make a statement about the G7 and the NATO conferences that he went to last week in the House of Commons.
Folks, I'm being perfectly serious, man. It's disgusting that political parties have an incentive to get into schools
in some shape or form. There are many Conservative MPs as well as opposition MPs
propagandise them the way they want for them just turning 16 when they can, when they're arguing, when they can vote and whatnot.
Thank you very much.
Raise it to 21. Give kids a childhood
main roads in parts of Scotland
until they actually give a fuck about this shit. And they start giving a fuck about this shit is when they start engaging in the real world and seeing how all this stuff actually does really actually affect people or can affect you.
The UK government has said that it understands
people are struggling with popping out of school expecting to be fucking Zeke Allen one way or the other. That's disgusting, man.
Ruth Forrest is training for...
And everybody's campaigning for the age to be lowered.
This was only made possible after discovering guide running, where a sighted person assists a visually impaired runner along their route, either by taking their elbow or by using a tether. Ruth says it's helped her run freely for the first time since she was a child. But grassroots sport for disabled people remains hard to access, despite the high profile and funding of elite disability sport.
This is where my great idea comes in. This is where midgets can be like a real benefit to society. They get to see midgets on the shoulders. They get to like steer them, like get reins or something, put it in their mouth. So they can steer the blind person when they're running. And and the small person or midget gets to see the countryside and all that, and the blind person gets to go for a wee run. Beautiful, isn't it? 2 birds, 1 stone.
There definitely needs to be more support and more funding and more awareness, both among sports clubs that visually impaired people can train alongside their sighted peers, but also support for visually impaired people to realise that they can do anything that they want to do and their sight loss doesn't have to be a barrier.
And we'll have more in this story on Reporting Scotland at 6:30 tonight. But for now, a look at your weather forecast. Here's Kirsty.
Good afternoon. It has been a rather windy day today, but
Also, your TV licence, it pays for like 2 weather people to tell you the same shit. Right, so you get your weather on the BBC News, and then you get your weather on the local news, and it's the same stuff. Different accent. 2 wages. 2 pigs at the trough. Not that she's a pig, by the way. Definitely wouldn't kick her out of bed for farting. Maybe for crumbs, no for farting. But it's just a point I'm making, man. It's like we're meant to be staying in a time of like austerity and shit. Well, austerity's meant to go on. We're just like post-pandemic bullcrap. Post-pandemic rationing. Food's at a all-time low. Right, that's me just done over an hour. Let me see. Is RT going to do actually any news? Come on. Oh!
Pumps as they take to the streets to make their feelings clear on that.
Let me see if I can get the
an
start.
Alternative of the region.
Oh, good. Come on, rap the news to us, man. I think RT America doesn't even do anything anymore. I wonder what those wee rappers are doing now.
Forces on Donetsk city and
That's strange. The BBC didn't mention anything about fucking Ukraine shit.
Infrastructure damaged. Also ahead on the programme.
Ukrainian troops prepared to defend Lysychansk for months and months.
Became pure special forces.
I'm
an independent reporter.
Our crew explores what had been the
Cracks me up, these independent reporters.
On the same day, Russian and Allied forces secured full control of the region.
Oh, maybe that's...
Natural gas in Europe skyrocketed since March. Top German officials are warning the worst is yet to come. That's as they turn to Qatar, seeking an alternative to Russian gas supplies. And in Mozambique, people's anger is being fueled by the ever-increasing prices at the pumps as they take to the streets to make their feelings clear on that.
It's mental, the stuff that just, you know, well, it's not mental, it's very predictable.
Wherever you're tuning in from across the globe today, welcome to Moscow and to RT International. My name is
reported.
We begin with the latest from the conflict in Donbass, where Ukrainian troops are actively shelling residential areas of Donetsk city. These are said to be the latest pictures from eyewitnesses. You can see artillery shells hitting a car park and sparking a huge fire. There are no reports as yet of casualties from this strike. Kiev forces have intensified their attacks on civilian infrastructure in Donetsk and its surrounding areas over the past month, while earlier today shelling hit a railway station and a food market. There have also been reports that an apartment block was struck in the attack. One person was killed in the shelling. A warning, you may find the following images disturbing.
I wonder why
we want
the
to tell you about
BBC didn't tell
this
me
woman who was
that.
killed after her car was hit by shrapnel after a shell apparently landed close by. Her husband was taken to hospital with injuries.
That's really...
Well, it comes as the entire neighbouring Lugansk People's Republic was taken under full control by Russian-led forces on Sunday. Russia's defense minister reported that the development happened directly to President Putin and came after Lysychansk, and nearby areas were secured. Now, the city had been the last major stronghold of Ukrainian forces in the Republic.
The offensive operation was successfully carried out to liberate the territory of the Lugansk People's Republic. The total losses of the Ukrainian army is 5,469. At this moment, Russian forces are demining the city of Lysychansk and surrounding areas, delivering humanitarian aid and providing medical assistance to civilians.
They're also shitting
As
out
Ukrainian
gold bars.
troops were forced to retreat from Lysychansk, they left fortified positions abandoned. Here you can see footage of some of the deserted trenches. RT senior correspondent Murat Gazdiyev visited the city
Spoils of
as the
war
battle for control of it
on
came to an end.
TV.
Getting into
I
Lysychansk
can't for the
is
life
no
of me
easy
think why they
task.
get kicked out of the
Ukrainian
UK
forces
TV
blew
thingy.
every bridge to the north, south, east and west of the city. There was never much concern for civilian well-being. Lysychansk was always looked down upon by Ukrainian nationalists as an inferior, pro-Russian city.
Раньше надо было, а? Раньше. Ничего, все вовремя.
А сейчас вы рады?
Хлопцы, да, хлопцы. Раньше надо было спасать нас. Раньше. Ничего.
No one expected Ukrainian forces in Lysychansk to collapse so quickly and so completely. For 2 months, Kiev promised Lysychansk wouldn't be broken easily. And for 2 months, Ukrainian troops prepared to mount a defense that would dwarf Mariupol.
What
is entirely apparent is that Ukrainian troops prepared to defend Lysychansk for months and months. Everywhere, all over the city, there are dugouts and trenches like this. They take a lot of work. Every major intersection in the city is blocked off like this, with rows of vehicles confiscated from civilians as well as broken down vehicles. As you can see, an intersection, and all 4 roads leading here are blocked off. Something happened that forced Ukrainian troops, thousands upon thousands of them, to leave, to flee, sometimes to run. From what we gathered, speaking to locals, this organization was rife. The myriad of Ukrainian units were demoralized and believed that they were being abandoned in Lysychansk. When one unit decided to retreat, it began
folks
an
will be doing this
avalanche.
Monday to Friday,
Eventually,
1 bells,
no one was left.
and tomorrow night,
The
not
city
info
and its
horse nightly
suburbs
news at
were
9.
liberated entirely in just hours.
We knew they had a great concentration of troops here, and that there were many civilians, so we lured them out of the city and slowly whittled them down. They didn't have the strength, material, or spirit to resist here. All of Ukraine's military might, and you could say the army itself, was in Mariupol. They were apparently trained, apparently prepared, and apparently knew how to fight. And yet, you saw how our fighters beat them. Here, they do not last 15 minutes in a fight. They did in Mariupol, but they do not here.
The people of Lysychansk are overjoyed. The city is largely intact. No Mariupol here. The fighting has ended and spirits have lifted.
I want to shout with joy. Just imagine we're citizens of Russia. Can you imagine how we lived here? Not very well.
I want to hold in my arms our soldiers who are fighting. It's been 4 months of hell. The Ukrainians behaved like inhumans. Thank you so much.
Glory to the liberators, glory to the Russian soldier. If we had not waited for you, I don't know what would have happened to us. We prayed
Remember,
for
folks,
you. Thank you for coming.
Independent journalism! Unfortunately, it's not entirely over yet. A tremendous amount of mines and booby traps were planted in and around the city. Worse, many Ukrainian troops have gone into hiding and are now being rooted out. This is one of the barracks where Ukrainian troops, the mix of them, slept. There's a variety of different services involved. territorial defence squads as well as
if I get a really bad memory, or the BBC not say one single word about Ukraine, they've just turned it into an absolute quagmire, and they're going to leave it at that.
Scattered
Although,
about, and that is a major problem.
Some would say that Russia just wants the two eastern provinces.
They took off their
I know we're getting told they want to take over the world and shit, but let's see if they
catching them is a
take
matter
the
of
two
time.
provinces.
The city is still being cleared and more being found all the time.
Consolidate
the
their
liberation
position.
of Lysychansk is a turning point. Lugansk is now entirely free of Ukrainian troops, and the Ukrainian military has demonstrated it is no longer in the fighting shape it once was. Morad Gazdiev, RT, from the Lugansk People's Republic.
Natural gas prices in Europe have shot up to more than $1,700 per cubic metre since March. Now, that's as Europeans search for alternatives to Russian gas. Top German officials are warning the
see if we can
situation
freeze
in their
this
country
winter.
could become much worse.
If Russian gas
If
is
you
no
don't
longer
die of
received and there are
COVID,
average winter
you'll
temperatures, our
freeze you
current
to death.
reserves will be enough for only a month or two, taking into account our obligations for gas deliveries to other European
it's the
countries.
German dude.
We have a real emergency. Because of the gas shortages, entire branches of industry are in danger of permanently collapsing
Why
in the
the fucking
aluminum,
RT
glass, the
not
chemical
get something
sectors.
other than this stuff
Such
at
a
fucking
collapse
robot
would have
boys?
massive
It really
consequences
is
for the
appalling when
entire
you listen
economy
to
and
a
jobs in
fucking
Germany.
transformer trying to tell you the fucking
Well, Europe,
news.
led by Germany, is seeking other gas suppliers to replace Russian energy. For example,
Fucking hell, can they
Qatar.
not afford
But
a
the Middle East
talking
nation
head or
is
a fucking
seeking a
voiceover
long-term
dude or
agreement,
something?
while
You're
the
up to
EU
hell there.
needs a shorter deal to hit its pollution
$1 million.
reduction goals, the much vaunted ones. Now, the potential agreement, if signed, will also need a few years to build the infrastructure needed. A German delegation led by Vice-Chancellor Robert Habeck visited Qatar earlier, but no deal has been reached as yet.
Oh, we need a few years to build infrastructure.
Well, I'm delighted to welcome
Ooh.
live onto the
Wonder
programme
how
now
long the
Dr.
Ukraine
Khalid
war's gonna last.
Al-Qatar, specialist in monetary policy and political economy from Qatar. Hello to you, sir. A top German politician has called the economics minister's visit to Qatar, quote, well organised, but so far ineffective. Is that a fair summary?
Well, as my professor once told me, that fairness is a relative term. What might be fair to me might not be fair to others. For instance, the Israeli occupation of Palestinian land is, we see it as unfair, as much as the West sees the invasion of Ukraine by Russia as unfair. However, while they endorse and they support the first one, they strongly condemn the second one, and they support independent Ukrainians. Likewise, when the United States invaded Iraq and destroyed that country. So this is the level of hypocrisy and double standard that you see. Regarding this partnership issue with Qatar and between Qatar and Germany, I think this is, it's premature to judge it. This is a long-term issue, and we have to wait and see, and there might be a deal in the making. So I think it's premature. Indeed, latest news, but I cannot confirm that there is a kind of a deal where Qatar supply about 20 to 25% of German need over the course of 2 years or so, while Germany build or construct two receiving terminals. So I think it's premature. This is a long-term partnership, and we have to wait and see. We cannot judge it so hastily.
The vice president of the Christian Democratic Union also stated Berlin is unable to answer questions on any gas deal with Qatar. What stumbling blocks could be holding up a deal?
From what I hear, or from what I know from the report, that there are 3 points of discussion or issues
get the ports
regarding
together,
the duration of the
and all the
contract.
pipes at the ports,
Qatar wants
and the pipes at the ports
about the 20
plugged into
years,
the fucking system.
Index oil pricing,
and that's
this
only
is,
me fucking
the
stupid old
opportunity
me
cost to
fucking
Qatar, where
no
Qatar,
shit.
for instance, will export this gas to East Asia. This will represent the current structure of its contract. and alternative choice for gas destination export for Qatar. And but this is complicated by the German government requirement to reduce a carbon emission by 88% by the year 2040, basically over the proposed period of the contract by Qatar, and also wants to link it to the Dutch benchmark. The second or the third point that Qatar want to...
No, mate, I've not heard anything about any signings, and I don't think Morelos is left yet either.
So as you can see, each country is searching
or
aiming for its best interest, but wants to maximize the utilization of its scarce resources over this coming 2 decades, which is believed to be the peak of oil in industry, and wants to maximize the utilization of it in order to support the diversification process of the economy. And to limit dependence on highly volatile and...
Right, here's the fucked up thing, see, because... Right, this is me stabbing in the dark, right, but, like, obviously we've got the North Sea gas fields. So, in theory, we should fucking have cheap fucking gas on fucking tap. But unfortunately, that gas isn't fucking considered ours. It's considered part of the fucking global supply. See, we need a proper little fucking Hitler that brings that back in. Being a national asset. Anywho. And frack the fuck out of this place. Watch the campaign to get that done. And also... don't be so naive to think that there aren't entities in Russia willing to fund willing idiots over here to protest fracking with filling their head full of shite. It's a possibility. Russia has a big dog in the fight to stop people fracking. Where did you ever first see anti-fracking shit? I'll tell you where I seen it. RT America. When they were showing you people fucking setting their taps on fire and stuff, and that's some powerful visuals. And again, propaganda doesn't need to be lies, it can be selective truths, so on and so forth, but everybody make their own mind up. But I'm just saying, Russia has a massive dog in the fight to persuade the average Joe in the West that fracking is the worst thing ever. And I'm just saying, make your own mind up. Maybe it is the worst thing ever, who knows? But I'm not going to let Putler, Vladov Putler, tell me.
Favorable price, long term, secure, reliable supply of gas from Qatar for Qatar not ask for its gas not to be rerouted to other countries.
All right. The US, as you know, also tried to reduce its dependence on Russian gas by pushing countries, including Qatar, to increase its supplies.
I know they didn't,
but there
was talk here about, I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
That can do,
maybe I'm not
over
up to
the
date.
short term. You know, Europe is importing about 155 billion cubic meter of Russian gas, and that's about 90%
there was
of
a
what
massive
Qatar produces. About 90%
there was massive campaigns
175 billion cubic meter
the country.
Of gas.
All the maps of where they were proposing fracking and testing for fracking and all that were leaked. And people started protesting the trucks turning up and stuff in different areas and whatnot. Now at the time it was people within the conspiracy theory world were calling it a conspiracy theory, saying that maybe the Russian state
the plan is to increase production to 32 million
fueling the fire of this shit. Maybe.
78 million
and people just couldn't compute with people because they were so sold on
2025
the stuff. And do bear in mind, we stay in a world now where there's people out there who will swear blind and sit and ramble off all sorts of crazy ass shit trying to convince you that the earth is flat. All sorts of stuff, man. All sorts of stuff. I don't even want to get started. Chemtrails. Fell for that one myself, man. I've got videos on my fucking... Woo, look at the chemtrails. Mate, I don't know if you see my top. I'm going to buy my Rangers membership
happening this year
shortly,
those
mate.
minorities spark clashes with
It's
local
fucking outrageous though, by the way.
spats between Qatar and
Fucking outrageous. You need to pay money to get tickets. So, anyway,
respect the rule, then there shouldn't be any.
you might get a mouse mat or something.
They don't, then the law will be.
Anyway, this guy for Qatar's just telling you about fucking gas prices.
Or diplomatic dispute between Qatar and other countries.
It more affects Germany than ourselves. We're 95% self-sufficient in gas.
Expect people or visitors to respect their law. I mean, and this group is not basically they are not.
I do believe
cause. They are not standing for a human right issue like famine in Africa or black right in.
Is that a Qatar guy talking about human rights?
Or child abuse?
I mean, tell that to all the people that died building your stadiums.
Things. I mean. Actually, their cause or their idea is against the very nature and existence of a human being itself. If it's
he's got a little Hitler tash, isn't he, man? People say I look like Hitler.
The world, economic growth will halt, human race will cease to exist in a matter of few decades, and the world will turn into a ruin. So what is the point of trying to normalizing it? To normalize it and impose it on countries and other.
Oh, I know, my gels, mate. It's fucking mental, man. See, the thing is, I'm going to fucking subscribe because I do want to go to some games and shit. And they've got me with the balls, man. They've got you with the balls. And all they do is we'll invest it in the team.
That should be intolerable and should not be allowed.
Fuckers.
Strongly not allowed. And
thing is, he wants to do my jails. What else are they going to start doing?
What is the
having to charge you like a fucking subscription fee to bid for every fucking game or some shit?
That you want to spread this kind of a practice among the youth and among others. This should be restricted, and I agree with the government law. And also, this is for their own protection themselves. You know, this could propagate or could, intimidate the public and could spark a reaction. So
Madam Jason, I can see your message, man. And
well, many thanks for coming in the program and sharing your thoughts with all those subjects with a specialist in monetary policy and political economy, Dr. Khalid Al-Qatar. Thank you very much.
Madam Jason, you're in the room, man. You can. People can see
a special session of the European Parliament will be held today, looking into the lethal clashes seen between Moroccan security forces and migrants on the border between a Spanish enclave and Morocco. The actions of Spanish authorities in the incident, however, are not on the agenda. That's despite the country's prime minister.
Well, drop us an email with your old thing, mate, and I'll unblock you or something, mate. I don't know. I can't remember.
We're talking about an attempt to assault the fence that was evidently carried out in an aggressive way, and therefore what Spain's state security forces and Moroccan guards did was defend Spain's borders.
Well, thousands of people across Spain protested against the police violence on Friday. 37 migrants were killed last month as they attempted to storm the Spanish enclave of Melilla. Protesters gathered in a central Madrid square seen here.
I remember I made a video years ago and I said World War III is happening right now and I'll show you. And I just went on to Google, what do you call it, Google Earth. And it was just like, well, boom, that's happening there, boom, that's happening there, boom, that's happening there. And it's just, woo, and it's just continued, man.
140 border guards. The UN says Moroccan authorities use batons.
And it's pretty much the same shit everywhere, isn't it? Migrants.
Scale offense.
Like, the list is like maybe 4 or 5 deep.
deliberately refrained
and
from
that's the
helping
same
the
shit
injured.
that's
Well, we spoke
getting
to a
used
global
to
policy specialist with a focus on the socioeconomic and political development of Africa.
that seems to be
Who believes the
provoking
EU desperately
everybody,
needs to
seems to
strengthen
be
Europe's
poking everybody with a
migration
stick
system.
round the world.
I think the situation is
Crazy.
very atrocious because it speaks to the fact of a violation of human rights, a violation of human dignity, and absolute disrespect to vulnerable people who are trying to escape prosecution and escape
mate,
violence,
man.
and escape wherever they're coming
Fucking
from and trying to
got
seek a
him,
new
man.
life. And I
Oh,
think it's
God
very tragic
fucking
that
mighty,
the
man.
comments made by the Spanish president and the reaction by the Moroccan and Spanish governments regarding
nice one, buddy. Going through with some
sad and
flowers.
tragic, and people should really be disappointed. Morocco seems to hide the evidence, and Spain praised
Can
the
imagine
police
it'd be a
action.
wash,
Is this
man.
even acceptable? I don't think it's acceptable because these are states who
You know,
are considered respectable in a global,
I was watching a lot of
sphere, and they should
the stuff
conduct
about
an
Corum,
independent investigation into these actions.
and I'd forgot
hold
that he
people
played for Man
who are
U.
complicit in committing such atrocities.
Mate, I don't know if you can remember, mate. Alex Ferguson fucking signed him as backup for Man U. I'll need to check if he got a game or no. But apparently Man U was the club he supported as a boy.
Through Spain or to Italy, they can find their way to other countries, which is a big flaw. So I think this is an issue that has to be addressed. How can they ensure that they have a strong immigration system
58
that
as well,
enhances
man.
coordination between the different member states, but also
Don't know
ensure
what
the
type
human
of
dignity
cancer
of some
he
of
had,
these
but
migrants who are
fucking
fleeing
hell.
conflict, fleeing environmental disaster, and fleeing different challenges.
No age for anybody, man.
Okay, another story to tell you about today. Uzbekistan authorities
What
say
can we
18
say, mate?
people
The
have,
goalie.
quote, died because of injuries sustained during unrest in the country's autonomous province of Karakkal, Pakistan. A further 240 were wounded, according to the officials. Last week, the Central Asian nation unveiled plans to curtail the autonomy of the region, sparking violent protests. Well, let's go live now to RT's Maria Finoshna, who is in the Uzbek capital, Tashkent. Hi, Maria. Indeed, take us through the proposed changes and, of course, the situation as regards those protests.
Yes, hi, Yunan. The deadly clashes in the country's northwestern region erupted last week, but that's only on Monday that the Uzbek authorities confirmed the casualties, including among civilian population.
Is
The
Uzbek
protests in Karakkal,
is it a
were
Russian
prompted
republic
by
or something?
planned constitutional amendments that would have stripped the republic, that, by the way, occupies around 1/3 of the country's territory, of its autonomous status, basically end any form of
I
local
think it must be.
self-governance and actually take its right to secede from
Come under the
Uzbekistan. Local people were not quite
Russian.
happy about that, and they took to the streets to protest. Shortly after that, the Uzbek leader flew to the region and made a turnaround, promising to drop the amendments to the constitution regarding the republic's status. And earlier on Monday, the country's parliament voted to maintain the republic's sovereignty. The protest led to violent clashes between demonstrators and police. Let's take a look now, but I have to warn you that some viewers may find the following images disturbing. A state of emergency has been declared throughout the whole region for a month, shortly after the clashes erupted, with authorities claiming some demonstrators attempted to seize the power. It is reported now that more than 500 people have been detained, and the country's president warns that any call for separatism or mass riot will be firmly crushed in line with the current legislation. Back to you.
Maria, thanks very much for taking us through that. RT's Maria Finoshna live in Uzbekistan. Well, Western sanctions against Russia are being felt right across the world. In the East African country of Mozambique, angry locals took to the streets over surging fuel prices. The nation's energy regulatory authority announced on
Mozambique
Friday,
is
yes,
happening
another
everywhere.
price hike, the third price bump since the beginning of the year. The increase is also affecting the price of other basic products such as rice, oil, sugar, bread and transport. RT's Paula Sleer is in the capital, Maputo.
This is Matola Terminal Port in Mozambique's capital city, Maputo. It's been expanding for the last 2 years because of donations from the United States and European Union. But the timing could not be more off, especially since traffic here has declined significantly ever since Russia and Ukraine faced off. Orders of cereals, fertilizers and fuel haven't been coming into the country because they can't get out of Russia and Ukraine, where supply chains are heavily disrupted.
It puts Africa in a very difficult situation. As we know, food security in Africa is a big issue.
Between Russia and China.
And Africa is not yet self-sufficient in terms of grain production. So being put in a position where you have to choose between people's needs, food-wise, and then the global scale of what's happening is very difficult. And it's a very hard question to ask of Africa. What is done generally is spike the food prices on the international market. Let's talk about flour specifically. Even if your country's not sourcing directly from Russia or Ukraine, the scarcity or the fears of scarcity from the Ukrainian and Russian markets have driven prices up across the board. And so you're having African countries have to deal with that when wheat and bread are one of the things that government subsidizes here, along with fuel.
The prices of food, fuel and fertilizers, not only here but across Africa, are climbing to record highs. Mozambicans can already feel the pinch, and things are only going to get worse.
If the government doesn't do anything, it's bad because a lot of people are starving here in Mozambique. They have to change things because we are suffering a lot. They need to talk in parliament. We want to live in peace and we want to eat because people are starving here.
We want to eat because we're starving.
But it doesn't cover half of what we need to buy. So
that makes some sense.
Things we struggle with in our country. The people from Western countries send money, but it doesn't cover even 50% of the country's needs, so it's not fair. The West isn't suffering from this, we are.
I'm worried about my son.
They send the shit, but it's not enough. It's not fair. The West aren't suffering. Aye, mate.
Mozambique has never grown enough crops to feed herself. There's no capital investment from government, no commercial farming, and no foreign investment because of the political instability.
RT must have just found a local fucking retard to say something stupid as that. And imagine them even broadcasting such a fucking retarded statement. No surprise, right enough, because their goal is to make the West look bad.
The 10 poorest countries in Africa. Situated on the southeastern coast of Africa, it's often ignored by the world. But the crisis here is very real and growing by the day. Paula Sleer, RT, Maputo, Mozambique.
All right, time for another visit to the Crosstalk studios next. Catch Peter and Guess right ahead as they tackle the question. Visit. Are there any adults left in the room? Stay close. This is RT.
Well, there we go. We get a wee bit of the BBC's. It's the cricket and the RT's. I'll have a wee search for it, buddy, when I'm done here. We'll see if I can find it. It's just, trying to find channels with just a name. Don't know. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's a fucking absolute fucking nightmare. Anywho, I'll be here Monday to Friday at 1 o'clock. Unless I've got any appointments and stuff, because I managed to get a fucking dentist appointment. It took me months, but I managed to get one. Get my wee check-up done. Aye, mate, I heard from Mr. Veach. When he spoke to me on the Skypes and agreed to speak to me, he shared a community page or some shit. Then later on, he removed it, and I sent him a Skype message asking him when this is. He's still up for this, and he says, "No, I don't want to do it anymore," and he's left it at that. out of some weird respect for his privacy, I don't want to show the Skype messages, but there's not really anything bad there or anything. But he pulled out. I don't know if it's because he went and touched base with some of the stuff and seen the questions I was going to ask. Which I thought were just questions. In fact, they are just questions. The Ian Tomlinson thing's fucking redunculous, man. Redunculous. God knows what the fuck's really going on, but I would love to see what his version of events is in 2022. Was he jesting? Was he lying? Was he working? Was he not? Was he there with his megaphone? Was he not? Why did he fucking character assassinate a guy that had just been murdered by the police? Sorry, technically manslaughtered. That's what the copper ended up getting charged with, manslaughter. Because I don't even, like you can see with the video, the copper was being overzealous, definitely. He certainly didn't mean to murder anybody. But his actions, which professional policemen should fucking not be participating in, led to the guy's death, manslaughter. Oh, mate, I don't watch any of his videos, right? I'll be honest, because I think most of his views that he gets is people watching him in disgrace. And do you know what? It's absolutely, it's the sewer pit of YouTube and the internet. It's the disgusting voyeurism. People watch it to see the poverty, to see the guys shagging in the street. Somebody sent me a message saying you should see his last video. He caught two guys bumming in the street. And I was like, what the fuck? I watched this video. This is one of these only videos that I've watched recently. And he goes down, what's it called? Cottagers Cove or something he calls it, right? So it's known as a fucking hotspot for fucking guys to go down and fucking bang each other. And he goes down there with his camera, hoping that he catches people shagging, and then fucking, oh man, it's fucked up. Now, the fucked up thing as well is I actually watched this through in its entirety, and see at the end, the guy was acting like a WWF wrestler. 800,000 people going to see this, 2,000 million people going to see this. You're a star on the internet. Everybody loves it when I catch people banging and all that. Pure absolute fucking... This guy has such a high opinion of himself and what he's doing. I don't know what he thinks he's doing and what benefit and what sort of how he thinks he's serving society by going round in poverty tourism. Sell your camera and feed the fucking cunts that you're going round pointing a camera at and provoking into reactions, you fucking dick. Somebody told me the other day that you filmed yourself cycling on the pavement after absolutely chastising and poking a guy with a stick for driving on the pavement going to a Greg's. He's a fucking walloper, man. Absolute walloper. Poverty tourists. And eventually some cunt's going to fucking beat him up with a big fucking stick. Him and his wee entourage. I don't care if he's 6 foot fucking 5, man. Get one of those nightsticks. Boom! Right off a fucking knee. Boom! He's no fucking 6.5 foot then. Don't know, man. When he's kneeling down, when you've nearly broke his kneecap. 5 foot? Plus he's going to might be rolling about in a bit of pain. Right. Boom! On the fucking elbow. It's just a conspiracy theory. You know, Anywho, thanks for watching, everybody. Tune in tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I'm going to do the off. Hold on a second. Who got a kicking? Crutchy got a kicking from the security guard. Really pissed. Oh, I missed that one, mate. Ah, well, he's making the right name for himself in Manchester city centre, and I think there's a lot of people that are his fans. One of the homeless guys, I know, mate. See the video. I don't know if you've seen the video we done in Glasgow. That's the thing that really fucking pissed me off, man. It's like he's literally touring the fucking country, going around the worst areas. And there was this wee woman calling him a prick and stuff and walking away, telling him to fuck off. And he was chasing after her. What, you little hobbit? Poking the camera in her face. And that's where I heard to the term poverty tourist. They're nothing but a poverty tourist. Chasing after fucking... Oh, it's disgusting, man. Absolutely disgusting. And what he thinks he's doing, I don't know. It's public place, it's a free country, I can film what I want. Fucking dick. Well, you can film what you want and you choose to film that. That says all you need to know about you, you fucking prick. And also in that film when he caught the two guys shagging at Cottagers Cove, funnily enough, you know. He was talking about, what was it he says? These videos are popular. People love this. So he's deliberate, and I know this myself through the experience of YouTube and having it monetized and the incentive of putting up stuff that have previously made you a lot of money. And he's doing this. So he does go down Cottagers Cove all the time. He does provoke all the fucking homeless people because he gets all the fucking weird fucking voyeurs that get some kicks. Shits and kicks out of watching fucking homeless people and down and outs getting provoked into acting like arseholes. And you know what? It's not a new trick. Far from it. It's a very old one. I know, mate. I wish. Well, what I've came to realise is he's very rarely alone. It looks like he's alone. It looks like he's sitting there. It looks like he's there on his Todd with his camera. But 9 times out of 10, he's got a wee entourage with him. And he's been proven willing to fucking kick homeless people on their arses. But see, once you know that move, you catch his leg, and then he's hopping. Remember you used to do that in school? And sweep his other one away. Can be done if you're like a ninja. If you're expecting that, you know what I mean? Grab his fucking leg. Alright, Alan, my man, how you doing? Mate, I'm just about to do the off. Ah, well, she summed him up well, man. But like the thing that was like, see if he was just standing there and people were coming up and fucking acting like clowns and stuff. Like, you're going like, right, okay, he's sitting there with a camera and people are coming up acting like dicks. But he's walking up to people, pointing cameras in their face, poking them with a stick, and then chasing after them as they're walking away. Like a wee bitch that needs to get the last word in. With fucking people down and outs, man. It's fucking... it is quite disgusting, man. And imagine going down whatever cove and finding two guys butt fucking. Crazy, innit? But people love those videos. People love them. Aye, Alan, my man. Nice to see you, buddy. Well, hopefully you see you all tomorrow at 1 o'clock as well. I'm going to do the off and get myself some lunch. Have a good afternoon, y'all.
Cips clips.
And remember, citizens, always subscribe and hit the bell. Shit.
Cips clips.
And remember, citizens, always subscribe and hit the bell. Everything will be well in 1995. Plus, shipping and handling will keep you out of hell. Why does a dog wag its tail? Because a dog is smarter than its tail. If the tail were smarter, the tail would wag the dog. Wag the dog in politics is the act of creating diversion from a damaging issue. Here at Wag the Dog News, the tail doesn't wag the dog. Enjoy.
Cips clip.
And remember, citizens, always subscribe. Hit the bell. Everything will be well. 1995. Plus, shipping and handling will keep you out of hell.